Yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Now, today I wanted to sit down and talk to you guys and girls about the GVG and Where Winds Meet. So with the 1.2 update that we got a little while ago, we finally got the addition of the 30 versus 30 guild versus guild PvP event. Now, before I get into that, there's some stuff I want to talk about, my first impressions, and obviously, some things that I like and dislike and so on and so forth. But before I get into that, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for much more Where Winds Meet content. And also, I will be covering some more MMORPGs later on this year. I'm just waiting for some of the new ones to come out and some new updates and stuff like that. But right, anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. So, like I said, we now have, if I go over to the guild and then I go to the event section, you'll be able to see here, participate in the guild war. So we now have the Guild War, which happens every Saturday and every Sunday. You can see here, this is done in EU time. So from 8:30 PM to 11 PM, you can queue up as many times. Well, not as many times, but there's a little bit of, some people saying you can queue up as many times between that time frame. But here it says 1 out of 4. I believe that was because we did also do a match like after the reset as well. So I don't really know for sure. But anyway, you can queue up and you can obviously have a 30 versus 30. There is a ranking system and stuff like that. This was the first one. Now, what I wanted to say was it was meant to happen initially on Saturday. It was meant to be the first one, Saturday night for us in EU. And for some reason, there was a lot of problems and nobody could join the GVG. So basically, it just didn't work. So Saturday was a complete write-off. So that is the first issue that we had. So Saturday got completely written off. Now, obviously, today is Sunday, and we was able to finally do the GVG. And I got to say, I was really looking forward to it, to be honest. I do love PvP. I do enjoy a larger scale PvP because currently until now we had the 1v1 arena. And then we've had obviously Perception Forest where you can do solo, duo and teams, right? Battle Royale mode, that is. And I've been waiting for the 2v2 arenas and the 3v3 arenas, but we don't have that unfortunately yet. So I do enjoy, like I said, I do enjoy more larger scale. I don't mind the 1v1 arena, but I prefer a slightly larger scale PvP. That's just what I enjoy. Like I enjoy playing Battlegrounds, like 20 versus 20, 10 versus 10, 30 versus 30, whatever you name it, 50 versus 50. So I was looking forward to this, but this one is slightly different to other games that I've played. This is basically a MOBA. It's a MOBA mode where you've got 30 of your players in your guild and then 30 of the enemy guild. And then you have your lanes. So you have, your left lane, middle lane, and you've got your right lane. And then you have towers. You have 3 towers, so 1 in each lane. Then you have a jungle where you've got obviously NPCs to kill on both sides. And then you have, at each base, there's a goose in each base. And then there is like this tree basically. So think of it as a payload. I'm not going to go into full details of it, but you just basically have to kill the mobs to get currency. Then you can buy buffs with the currency. Then at half time as well, by the way, there is a 1v1 at half time, which is actually really cool. I like that idea. So the guild leader has to assign somebody that they want to take part in that 1v1 basically. So it's only just, like I said, it's just one person from each guild at halftime gets to do a 1v1, and then whoever wins that 1v1 gives your guild some good buffs. Now, don't get me wrong, I enjoy MOBAs, I like that, but what I've noticed is basically you just need to destroy the 3 towers as fast as possible. Whoever does that pretty much is mostly going to win, to be honest. Obviously, things can happen, mistakes can be made, but the faster you destroy the towers, that gives you more damage. The more damage you have, then you can take out the goose faster. And once you take out the goose faster, you can then obviously move the tree, which is the payload. And what happens is you need to obviously get the payload to the other side, or if there's a long fight, there's a long stalemate, then basically what happens is whoever's got the payload the furthest will win. So you need to make sure that the people in your jungle are obviously killing the mobs. You're making sure that you're taking the towers out as soon as possible. You've got a jungle team who are going to be taking down the mobs so that you can get the coins. Because the more coins that you have, obviously, the more buffs that you can buy. So that's all good. That's all fun, right? Typical MOBA. But the problem is, this game is obviously, the graphics are very good in this game. It's action combat, and time after time after time, we have seen where in MMORPGs, yes, I know, before someone says, this isn't a real MMORPG, yeah, I know that. It's an MMO light, but the point being is it's 30 players versus 30 players, and the meta right now is basically as much AoE damage as possible, right? Which causes a lot of lag. So whether the servers just can't handle it, or if it's just a pure PC issue. Like, for example, I don't have a bad PC. I don't have like a phenomenal one, but I have a 4060 Ti. I have 32 gigs of RAM. My CPU is pretty decent. I can't remember the exact one I have right now. I'll put it in the comment section after. But the point is, my PC isn't something bad. So, and I was having some proper problems with FPS drops. Only in the clump fights. When I was in the jungle, when I was roaming around in the jungle, or if I was going off on my own for a little bit to have smaller skirmishes, then I was fine. My FPS was perfect like it normally is. As soon as we got to the clump fights and I'm trying to help, defend our tree, or I'm trying to help take down the goose, for example, when there's all of us together and there's loads of mass AoE spells going off like the meteor, there's loads of, the bell is going off. When all of that is happening, my FPS was just tanking. Also, there's something wrong with the rendering. I believe people were saying that you can only see 25 people on the screen at once or something like that, enemy wise. So you have to set your view distance onto like Epic basically, which obviously, the higher you put your settings, then of course you're going to have some more, you're going to have a performance decrease. So I tried to make a balance where I lowered most things and then just kept the view distance as on the maximum. But I was still having problems with the big clump fights and the big AoEs, which just doesn't make the game fun, right? It makes it, bad because you can't see what's happening. People were saying in the guild and in other people's guilds where they were getting killed by people that are invisible, basically. You just can't see them, but you're still dying. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It puts a bit of a bad taste in my mouth. It brings me sort of memories as well of when New World first came out and we had the 50 versus 50 wars, and that was a massive slideshow at the start. Granted, they improved that eventually and the wars were perfect after that. Obviously, unfortunately for New World is no longer around, but I digress. I've played obviously other games with mass PvP, but they've been tab target, and it just again proves to me that when there's mass scale PvP, having it as action combat with a lot of, splashy effects, good graphics, the game struggles. So I don't know whether they can, change that and help people, because you have to remember, people play this on console. We have people in the guild that are playing on PlayStation. So I don't know how. I didn't actually ask some of the PlayStation users, but if you're a PlayStation user, let me know in the comment section down below. How did your game perform when you was in the clump fights? Was it really bad? Did it lag? Did it crash? I would just love to know. But yeah, I don't want it to be a case of, you're only going to fully enjoy the GVG or the mass PvP if you've got a NASA PC, because that shouldn't be it, right? You should be able to enjoy it regardless. Hopefully the devs can iron this out. Maybe the servers do need a little bit more tweaking. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to have to just play the GVG on the lowest graphics setting possible, which I don't also like doing either, but it is what it is, right? But anyway, guys, like I said, I did enjoy it. I played 3 matches tonight. I prefer doing the smaller scale. I prefer being in the jungle and roaming around and trying to do an assassin's job, basically, than being in the massive clump, because, yeah, it just wasn't too much fun for me. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Like I said, I enjoyed it. I'm happy it's in the game now, finally. Let's just see what happens over the over the next few months, next few weeks, etc. Maybe the devs, fingers crossed, maybe they can tweak it a little bit and optimize it a little bit more. If not, then it is what it is. I look forward to the 2v2, the 3v3, and the 5v5 whenever we get that in the global version. But yeah, have a beautiful day. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you very, very soon. Take care. Peace.